Yeah, because Kishan has fought and fought and said, well, that is just home and he's just getting all this letter of people claiming him and changing their names and all of that. I have fought, I can't fight no more, I'm done. Yeah, nobody can take him from me. As long as they are not trying to take him from me, I'm good. You know? Yeah, yeah, he said, Kishan says that he's willing to give each of them 10%, while as long as he keep 90%, he's good.
As long as I get the majority, I'm good.
Yeah, there you go. See? There you go. Yep. Yep. And as long as they are not touching, his money, he's good.
Correct.
There it is. Wow. How do you know? How do you know that somebody is a cheap person? Since God does not deal with the cheap. V girl, welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to grind you for a little bit.
So, since God doesn't deal with cheap people, how do you know what is the characteristics, personality, the trait, like tomatoes, TRAITS? What are the traits? How do you notice? How can you tell that somebody is a cheap person? Is what we are looking at tonight. Because we cannot be praying and telling God we need miracles, the atmosphere of miracles, we need money for investment and for enjoyment, all these different things. And yet, our mentality, and the way we talk, the way we act, the way we imagine things, our very personality, even to the core of our humanity, even to the core of who we are as spirit beings, constantly, continuously, year after year, displays the mentality, characteristics, personality of a cheap person. It does not mean that because somebody dresses good or drive a BMW or a Mercedes or a Rolls Royce or have a yacht out in the lake or in the river or in the sea or ocean or have a private jet that they are rich. That does not mean that they are rich. You see people drive a good car, dress in nice flashy suit and ties, blouse and skirt, nice pumps, nice hairdo, their nails well done. Does not mean that they are rich. People living in $1 million home does not mean that they are rich. Many a times when you see, oh my goodness, many a times when you see people like that, it means that they are struggling people, they are cheap people who are trying to play rich, but they ain't rich and they will never be rich. So today you see them driving a BMW that is borrowed or on a lease. Next time they are on a Toyota. You know why? They cannot even pay off anything because they are cheap people. They have cheap mentality. So I want us to address this. I want us to address this tonight so that you will be able to tell yourself whether you're a cheap person or not. So that you know, so that you are able to know Abraham was not called to follow a cheap God. Being cheap begins with the mind. Being cheap begins with the way you do things and the way you talk or you communicate. And let me tell you, it does not matter how good you dress. It does not matter how flashy the car you drive. It does not matter what you are telling people about yourself. It does not matter how you put yourself together in order to walk into a church, into an office, into a party, into an event, into certain occasions. It does not take a second for someone who is really wealthy, who has accumulated wealth, somebody who is rich, to figure out that you are cheap. It doesn't take them long. They will know that you are cheap. It does not take long for somebody who has made money and has invented money, has invested money, please, that's the word I want to use, has invested money to smell a rat, like the Caribbean people say, to smell a rat, that you are cheap. I told Vicky a story today about this young boy that was always following the mother and father to this Roman Catholic church. The boy, when he goes to school, some of his colleagues, 90% of his colleagues at school, they go to Presbyterians, Lutheran, United Methodist, Baptists, Pentecostal, some evangelical churches. And they always talk about the breakfast they will have before church. And the padlock, is that what they call it? Padlock, the meal that happens after church service. Do they call it padlock? Whereby people bring different people, families cook and bring, together. And everybody, everybody, please, what is it called? Please, I'll be quiet.
Yeah, potluck is a good word. Yeah.
Okay. So people will sit together to eat and enjoy and talk about the week gone by, the week about to begin. That is where they talk about the service that that just ended. And so this boy was so upset that his own church, they were not doing this. Instead, every Sunday they will have a mass and people will go out and they will give them a little tiny thing and put in their mouth in the name of the body of Jesus. And sometimes they will dip it in a little wine, something that tastes like wine. And he will sit there hungry and angry. And the priest, they will perform the ritual and he will preach for a long time and all kind of stuff. And everybody just, immediately the service is over, he cannot even talk to his friend. Everybody's running out of the church. But everybody runs. And they are entering their car. And the boy, as little as he is, realizes people are leaving the church so quickly because they are hungry. And he realizes that whenever the parent, after church, takes him to the buffet that is in downtown, he will see the same faces he sees in the church. They all line up to go to the buffet, to go and buy some food. So one Sunday, the boy was studying what all these things means in Latin. So he asked the parent, what is the meaning of ite misa e? So the parent says, ite misa means mass has ended or church service has ended. The deacon or the pastor, the Roman Catholic pastor will say that, or the deacon or somebody that is serving a mass service, something like that. And then the pastor will then say the benediction or kind of stuff. So and everybody will say, when they say the church has service has ended, the mass has ended, something like that. I don't know where they get all that, and then the go in peace, yeah. And the boys say, what kind of go in peace? And the people will first say, people then when they will say ite misa, the people say Deo gracias, mass has ended, thanks be to God. The boys say, why are they thanking God? Thanks be to God for what? And by the way, was it really a service? The boy keep asking. So what I did not tell Victoria was that this boy was in my class. I was a head teacher. I was a head teacher in a Roman Catholic church school. I was in charge of a district school, and part of the district was a Roman Catholic church school that was part of my control. So so at the same time, I used to spend time when I go to the different schools, and the kids will come to me and they will talk, because they knew that I was a priest. They knew that. So, but I wasn't of the Roman Catholic. I was serving the Presbyterians and the Lutherans, etc. So the boy told me about it. So we talked. You guys know that I know how to spoil people. I'll tell them the truth, and then I'll tell them how I coach the boy. I told the boy, well, this is how it is in our own. We always have breakfast. We have dinner after the church, and everybody's happy. And that's why, because the boy was asking, why do you have a lot of, the kid told me that you have so many members in your church. Our own, we don't really have a lot of members. Why? I said, well, because we have breakfast, we have real food. You guys go to get communion. We get everything. We get both communion, we get breakfast, we get dinner too, and all of that. He said, I would like to come. I said, your parent will allow you. I don't want, don't get me into trouble. So what the boy did was, shortly, immediately, he sat in front, away from the parent, sat between his two aunties, who always go to church with some big berettas, big hats, and the two aunties always sit together in front of the pews before the altar. So the little boy sat between his two aunties, and shortly before the person who normally says ite misa, service has ended, the boy was like a little bit of a mockery or something, So he ran to the altar, grabbed the microphone, and spread his hand like to say the benediction, and he shouted into the microphone, ite pisa, ite pisa, instead of pisa, instead of ite misa, So he said, ite pisa, And then everybody was stunned. The aunties, his father, everybody was stunned. And he turned around and then he shouted, ite boga, Yep. Everybody were looking at everybody, So one is ite boga, and the other one, ite pisa, ite pisa, So the boy said, we need to start eating pizza and burger in this church. And he handed the microphone to the deacon. That is how the church changed. And people began to bring breakfast. People began to bring burgers and pizza, to the church. People began to say, to hell with it. Wow, how many years did this church exist? Come on, tell me. Since the 18 something? and we've never eaten in this church. It's a shame that the little ones come to church. They have not even pizza or burger. And it took a little boy who is very hungry to stand up and shout into the microphone, "Eat a pizza, eh? Eat a burger, eh?" And when oh my goodness, oh gosh. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. And you see why we should keep writing our stories, because we know what we are doing. I love it. And that is how the church changed. When I asked that little boy, when he came and told me what he did, I said to the boy, well, that's how you know cheap churches from rich churches. He said, I got it. And so he changed his church. He changed it. A little tiny little boy changed the church from being a cheap church. Little thing that will show that you are rich. So, yes, a little child shall lead them. Yep. 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 With the coaching of Bishop Idika Imeri. Yep. And a child will go and disgrace them and show them what they should have been doing. Eat a pizza, eh? I say, go for it, boy. Eat a burger, eh? Yep. Come on, pizza and burger. And let the children eat and be happy. And then they will be able to listen to what the pastor is saying. That boy says that since he was born till they started the padlock, he has never heard one thing that the pastor was saying from the pulpit. I'm serious. He said he doesn't even know what they were doing there. See, when food enters, then the word can enter. I hope you get it. When food when food enters, then the word can enter. If not, the word cannot enter. You are wasting your time. Yep. Yes, so eat a pizza, eh? Deo burgers, you know. And you can now ring the bell, let them go home with shame. Oh gosh. Mm-hmm. How can you tell that somebody is a cheap person? Number one, watch that person. A cheap person doesn't take instruction or correction easily. Will never accept instruction or correction from any human being. They hate to be corrected, to be given positive, not negative correction or instruction, but something that people will pay for. And you call the person aside and said, look, there's a big tail hanging out of your butt. We need to cut it off. It's about time that you stop this, you stop that. You say it in such a kind and nice way and say, see what has happened, see what has happened, see what has brought about failure here, miscommunication here, problem here. Please, let's do something about it and change. A cheap person will tell you, how dare you? Don't you know I am the leader here? I am the leader here. Don't you know I started this business? I started this mission. I started this department. I started this faculty. Don't you know I and my family did this? A cheap person will never accept instruction or correction. Positive instruction, correction, positive correction and instruction put in a very nice and kind way. Instead, they think that you are challenging their position of power. That takes us to number 2. Samantha, I hope you're writing. V girl, I hope you're writing. Yes. Vicky, Mary, I hope you're writing. Yes. Now we go to number 2. A cheap person sees power where there is none. A cheap person comes to look for power. So write it as a cheap person comes to look for power and also sees power where there is none. As a cheap person comes to seek for only power. Only power. Please put only. A cheap person comes to seek for only power and sees, S-E-E-S, and sees power where there is none. That's number 2. So if a cheap person come to work in your office or come to work in your organization, you are in trouble. Number 3, a cheap person loves control. If such is not in control, they will either destroy the place, destroy the thing, or destroy other people. Please put it exactly as I say it. They will destroy the place, they will destroy the thing, or destroy other people. Through different means. So even if they don't know a thing about their job, and even if their power is limited as to their department, they want to control every other department. A cheap person, the next number, please make sure you're writing the next number, because I might not be able to remember which one I just said. Next number, a cheap person is an arrogant person. It's an arrogant person. Comma, a gossiper, comma, a mocker, comma, a liar, comma, a manipulator, and a betrayer. Do you see that? When you reach the liar, please can you put it a big fat liar? Please put it like that. A big fat liar. BFL. A big fat liar. Make sure you put it that way. Remember, we ended with an betrayer. So, Samantha, if you are done, can you read it to me, that particular number?
That's number 4. A cheap person is an arrogant person, a gossiper, a mocker, a big fat liar, a manipulator, and a betrayer.
And a betrayer. Did you see that? I love the BFL. Big fat liar. That one, I can even ring a bell for that one. And a betrayer. A betrayer. Cheap. Next one. Next number. A cheap person is not a listener, is not an active listener. Period. Continue to write. So while you are talking with a person, put it this way, while you are communicating with a person, the person's mind is not with you. It's not with you. They don't listen. Next number. A cheap person do not think of consequences. A cheap person do not think about the consequences of their words or action. I'll give you an example. For no reason, since maybe feels that he's not in control, he or she decide to quit the job. The person decide to quit their job. They don't think about how are they gonna pay for their rent, their mortgage, their car note, all those kind of things. They never take that into consideration. They never think about how are they gonna eat before they stage their drama. And then they tell you, they give you the reason why they left, but they never take into consideration that the money they have in their bank account is very limited. That's how you know a cheap person. They act. So I want you to finish that sentence by saying they act before they think. Cheap people act before they calculate or think. Put it that way. Cheap people act before they calculate or think. Next number. Cheap people are carried away by emotions and social waves. WAVES. Cheap people are carried away easily. Make sure you use the word easily. Cheap people are carried away easily by emotions and social waves. Next number. A cheap person is never wrong. A cheap person is never wrong in their own. How do I put it? A cheap person is never wrong. Even when what they have done is totally wrong. Next number. A cheap person will always. Huh?
I know someone like that.
Okay. Okay. Next.
I know someone like that.
Yeah. Next one. A cheap person will always blame everyone else for their mistakes and never themselves. Even when they are the chief architect of their own doom. DOOM. Even when they are the chief architect of their own doom. Nope. They will blame everybody else for their problem, never themselves. For their mistake, never themselves. Next number. Cheap people are known. Put it this way. Every cheap person is a drama-oriented personality. Period. Continue to write. They love to fight. And they are known by their love to fight and quarrel continuously. Next number. A cheap person is a master complainer. A master complainer. And a big time whiner. Master complainer and a big time whiner. Next number. Cheap people are good at playing rich, but they will never be rich. They will never be rich.
We have a saying for that.
Yep.
Champagne taste and Molly pocket.
There you go. A cheap person will never want to humble him or herself to learn from the best. To learn from the best. A cheap person will never humble him or herself to learn, like to be educated, to learn from the best. But will judge the best and try to prove that there is profit in stupidity, and try to prove that there is profit in stupidity. That one, we should ring a bell for that one. Next number. A cheap person will only like you a lot if you are willing to become as miserable as him or her. For misery loves company. Big time. For misery loves company. Big time. See that? Don't you see it? Somebody quit smoking and the other person really hates her or hates him. You move away to go and start a business? Cheap people won't like that. Why do you want to go and start a business? Why don't you just stay like the rest of us? Papa Biden is going to give everybody money. Why do you want a job? Once a week, you used to go with such a person to stand in the line at the food bank, and suddenly you have a job and you're buying your own food. You are not limited as to the quality of food you want, you think, and then the cheap person will tell you, you are not smart. You know, you ain't smart. You know that if you start having a job, the government won't be giving you money. Next number. Cheap people are very limited in their thinking and in their world view. Next number. Cheap people uses aggressiveness and violence instead of their head, brain, and mind. Instead of their head, brain, and mind. You see it?
Can you say that one again?
Samantha, read it for my big daughter. Read it for my wonderful, wonderful girl.
Cheap people use aggressiveness and violence instead of their head, brain, and mind.
Vicky, read to me what you got.
Brain and mind.
Brains, head, and mind.
Okay. Cheap people view aggressiveness and violence instead of their head, brain, and mind. Use. Oh, good. Okay. Thank you.
Vicky, anything that you didn't get, ask me to repeat it, so that you so that you have the right thing.
Okay.
Okay.
If I think I have the wrong thing, I'll ask you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Cheap people always move from bank to bank, location to location, romantic relationship, to more romantic relationships, and from failure to failure. See what I mean by that? They are never stable. Next number. Cheap people will make.
What's that last part? Hold on, Bishop. What's the last part? They move from romantic relationships to more romantic relationships and what? From failure to failure. Failure to failure. Okay.
From failure to failure. Thank you.
Got it.
Okay. Cheap people are good at hiding who they really are and who they really are, comma, their mistakes and failure. Instead, they are good at showing you the fake, F-A-K-E, the fake side of themselves till they get you in. Next one. Now, these are very important ones I'm about to tell you guys. Next number. When problem occurs, a cheap person will cry, comma, complain, comma, shout, comma, get angry, comma, become moody and depressed, blame themselves and others, and lose confidence in life. Instead of looking for one thing. Solution, solution, solution. Period. So let me explain. So let's have it as the next number so that it helps us to really make it easy. Cheap people are not solution oriented. They make a problem worse. They make it worse. W-O-R-S-E. So let me speak about the two that we've just talked about, the two numbers. When something happens, cheap people, they get agitated, they are so sad, they cry, they roll on the ground. Yeah, they roll on the ground, they cry, they get moody, they get depressed, all kind of gymnastic they will perform. In fact, if a cheap person comes to comfort you, if you have a problem, okay, write down the next number. That will explain everything. If you have a problem, please do not invite a cheap person to help you, because they will make the problem bigger than this planet. This is big. Samantha, read it to us. If you have a problem,
please do not invite a cheap person to help you, because they will make the problem bigger than this planet.
Did you hear that? Where is my Victoria? Vicky, did you hear that?
Yes. Yeah.
They will make the problem to be bigger than this planet. In fact, they will make you to go and commit suicide, because they will tell you, I don't see any way out of this kind of thing. That's what they will tell you. A cheap person will tell you, I don't see any way out of this. Man, you are done. Man, you are done. Yeah, you are finished. Yeah. A cheap person will tell you, man, they kick your butt. Wow. Why did you allow this? Why this? You know, why did you go there? I don't see any way out of this. Man, we are done. Man, you are done. Whoa. This is huge. I don't see any solution to this kind of thing. This is bad news. Man. And the person start to scream. And you yourself that has the problem, you become even afraid of the person that came to comfort you. Can you imagine? So can you imagine, by the time that the person leaves, you are half crazy, half mad, half dead, you know? Yeah. You have to choose very carefully who you want to confide in. The person will tell you, hey, go and get the Mercedes. Go and get it. You need to cut him. You need to bite somewhere in that person's ear. You need to bite off the ear. Hey, you need to do something. You must do something. Hey. Yeah. This person need to be punished. And they themselves, listen to this. Cheap people themselves, this is, write down the next number. A cheap person does not want to carry out the violence even though they are violent. They will whoop your emotion and mind to go and do it for them. You got it? They will whoop your mind and emotion. They will tell you why you should go out. Yay! These people, what they've done against you, oh my God, I can't stand to see them do this to you. I must fight them. I must stand up for you. I must fight for you. Here is the hammer. Go and break their head. And the person will not go to do it for you. He will not go and break the people's head. He will put the hammer in your hand and say, you go. But remember what he just said. I must stand up for you. I will fight for you. I will, oh my God, you will see what I'll do to that man if he comes back to this house. Yay! You know, here is the hammer. Go and strike him. And then you go to jail and the person is in his house sleeping. Can you imagine that? Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm going to follow all of you to we're gonna walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. We are going to walk down there and take back our nation. And all of them are now in jail. Can you imagine that? And he was sitting down and watching the television to see what is happening. I'm going to walk with all of you. I will be in front. All of you follow me. We are walking down that Pennsylvania Avenue. We are walking down to the Senate. Oh my God, I can't wait. Whoa, we are taking back our country. Where is Mike Pence? We need to hang him on the gallows. Yes, we are looking forward to him to do it. Yeah. A cheap person will whoop you and try to convince your mind for you to go with them. And then when it reaches where they should do the cutting, where they should do the fighting, where they should do the destruction, they run away. And they give you the Mercedes, the gun, the weapon to go and do it for them. So you end up in jail and you stay in life imprisonment, and they are out there eating pizza and burger and growing fat tummies. See that? So write down the next number. A cheap person is a coward. Put it this way. A cheap person is a full profit coward. Put it like that. Full profit. He's not a non-profit. He's a full profit coward. Because he's trying to profit himself. That's why such play the coward game. A cheap person is a full profit coward. It's for him and his family. It's a coward. I can't imagine what they've done to you. You need to take them to court. You must go to court. The judgment will be swift. And they know that when you go to court, they are going to tie you down there for the next 10, 20, 40, 50 years. And they tell you to go. Oh, yeah. They tell you, let's go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. A cheap person do not want to die and is afraid to die. Listen, a cheap person do not want to die and is afraid to die. A cheap person do not want to die and is afraid to die, but want everyone else to go and die for him. That's what a cheap person does. Next number. A cheap person lives in the circus. 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 And you can hardly train such. See, all the animals, so this is worse than the wild animal. All the wild animals, you can train them to perform in the circus when the circus come to town. Okay? But a cheap person, you cannot. But instead, the cheap person remain in the circus, but you cannot train a cheap person to perform in the circus. Next number. A cheap person is never organized nor prepared for any position they occupy. They are never organized nor prepared for any position such is occupying. Did you guys get it?
Yes.
They are not prepared.
Yes.
They are unorganized. They are not organized. They are not prepared for any position they are occupying. Next number. A cheap person is always a borrower. A cheap person is always a borrower and never get out of debt. And never gets out of debt. Excuse me. Next, a cheap person hates to invest money but loves to enjoy money. Please write that down. A cheap person hates to invest money but loves to enjoy money. There you go. See? Next number. Whenever a cheap person meets with you, they are always telling you a sad story, a negative story, or they want you to borrow them something.
Or they want you to do what?
Borrow or loan them something.
To loan them something.
Yes, to loan them something.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Next number. Since cheap people are sharks. Since cheap people are sharks. Mm-hmm. Are sharks and hyenas. They are sharks and hyenas. Hyenas. Hyenas.
Oh, hyenas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since cheap people are sharks and hyenas, you must become a killer whale and a lion. Did you get it? You must become a killer whale. WHALE. Killer whale. And a lion or a lioness. Mm-hmm. Huh?
Oh my God.
Interesting, isn't it? Next number. A cheap person loves to talk. 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 Put talk 3 times. A cheap person loves to talk, talk, talk. A cheap person loves to talk, 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 believing that if they do not talk, they will die, die, die. Do you get it? Yep. A cheap person believe that if they do not talk, 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 that they will die, die, die. So, a cheap person is a talker and not a communicator. A cheap person is like a trial lawyer. A cheap person is like a trial lawyer. Trial. How do you spell trial?
Trial.
Okay. A cheap person is like a trial lawyer. Comma. They will try themselves keep talking and acting, keep talking and acting, and end up in jail wondering how they got there in the first place. And end up in jail wondering how they got there in the first place. Continue to write. Cheap people are their worst enemies. So what I was saying is that they just keep talking and talking and acting, even when their lawyers, their real lawyer will tell them, shut your mouth. They will keep talking and acting and digging their own grave until they will not even know when they say things that ended up in them being handcuffed and put in jail, and they wonder how they end up in jail. What did I do to be here? Go and listen to what you were saying and how you were acting. You were told not to be not to be texting your ex. You are telling your ex, I'm gonna deal with you. I'm gonna make sure this happens to you. I'm gonna do this, and your lawyer told you not to be talking and texting. And now, since cheap people are known by their anger, they are known by their anger. Uh-huh. And they will use that in court against you. And they will start asking, I didn't do anything wrong. Oh, I didn't say anything wrong. Go and look at what you said and what you were acting, how you were acting. Next number. Cheap people have no gift of negotiation and communication. They have no gift of negotiation and communication. They have no gift of negotiation and communication. They don't have it. They can't have it. Next number. Cheap people are not detailed nor capable of focusing or capable of focusing. They are not detailed or capable of focusing on a particular thing and finish it. They are not capable. So let me go back to what I said in one of the numbers. Avoid people who come to you to cry and shout and make noise and all of that, and yet cannot sit you down and say, let's find solution. Have nothing to do with them. Yep. Next number. Cheap people are one-way mindset. One-way mindset. See? They refuse to think about things in a very wide way and look at the implications. Nope, they are just one. Oh, please, can you put it? There's a way we put it. Cheap people are one-track mindset. One-track mindset. Track is T-R-A-C-K. T-R-A-C-K. One-track mindset. That's who they are. Next number. Cheap people sees everyone and everything. Cheap people sees everyone and everything from the point of use, and abuse. Use, and abuse. Next number. A cheap person is a competitor. A cheap person is a competitor instead of a contributor. Period. So in everything, they see competition. Period. So in everything, they see only competition. If the son or daughter want to go to college, they see it as a threat to themselves who only had a GED. If the wife want to go and do her baccalaureate, they tell you, what do you need it for? You come to diminish the boss of the house and put everybody in debt. You don't need this. They see it as a threat. In any way, if you have a job that you are going to be paid, far more money than that person, they feel it as a threat. They see it as a threat. Because they came into that relationship and into that marriage as competition. They came to compete with you. So your job gave you a Rolls Royce. A used Rolls Royce by an elderly couple that are going into the nursing home, and they decided that this should be given to somebody who is worthy of it, and they gave it to you, and you bring it. He told you, take this thing and go and give. We don't need this kind of car. Hey, we are not this rich to be driving. Why are you driving this kind of car in the first place? It should be me that should be driving this kind of car and not you. If it is not me that is gonna, when people ask you who owns this car, say it is your husband. If you are not willing to do this, because now you are going to be bigger than me. Do you not see that people are going to be thinking that you are the man of this house, and I'm now the woman of this house? Come on, you see it? They try to convince you. Go and return this. Go and return this God-forsaken car. The car now is God-forsaken car. One man was given a jet, and some men who are his friend. That was when what I used to teach them dawned on him that what I've been saying is true. The men that he surrounded himself with say, "What are you gonna be doing with this jet? Come on, return this. You don't need it." So you know the trick that he put on them. He said to the man who was telling him that he should return it, he said, "What about if I should donate this jet to you?" The man said, "Donate this jet to me?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Ah, wow, that would be great." He said, "You see it? Do you see it?" The man that was the chief architect that was telling him, why do you need this jet? You don't need this jet. This thing is a terrible thing. This person gave you a jet to destroy you. And then, while the meeting was going on, he stopped. He said, Mr. Thomas, I have been thinking about what you said. What you said is true. What about if I should donate this jet to you? What do you think of that? He said, donate the jet to me? He said, yeah. He said, wow, that would be awesome. For me to own a jet, that would be great. He says, really? Really? So, if you own a jet and fly a jet, that would be awesome. But if I own this jet and fly this jet, that would be bad. I see how you guys think about me. You can all sit here and have your meeting. I'm gone. He left. In fact, in the next morning, he dismissed them from his board of directors. He dismissed them and got himself new people. For the first time, it dawned on him that he had enemies in his board that he picked, and he thought they were his high school friends. So for them, enemies of progress, every enemy of progress, I won't say it. I won't say it. Yes, so. Yes, so. Enemies of progress. You shouldn't be the one owning a jet, a Rolls Royce, owning businesses. But it's good if they are the ones who has it. Then it's good. Not you. You should not. Come on, you shouldn't. Why should you? You know, it's not good. When you are driving that, you don't look good in it. You look ugly. But if I'm in it, I'm nice. You can give me the key. It's good. It's good with me, but it's not good with you. Waka. Yeah. Friend ni, you know? Friend call friend ni. That's what the Yoruba says. Friend call friend ni. Yeah. You should live in a mansion, and then the other should live in a shack. You are good in the mansion. He's not good in the mansion. Interesting. Orio da, Orio Bruku, Orio da, you thief. You thief. Shame on you, thief. Thieves, and competitors have no shame. Shame on you people. Shame. Dambru banka shege. Pakam param pam 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 pum pum. Nice. This is why God doesn't like cheap people. God doesn't like them. We are not talking of cheap in terms of you are going to buy wine, you go and buy some $5 thing and tell people that is a $100. You know, like when you go to Brazilian eating places. Immediately you settle down, they start bringing you the meat and the different sides, the yuca, that's cassava, that the Veda made it into. Either they made the cassava into a porridge like, or into a soup like, or into a French fries like. They start bringing out the African side of Brazil. They start to bring them out. Come on, You will love it. They start to bring those food out. Then you will see somebody pushing something. In it is different kinds of wine and liquor and hard liquor, and the person will come to you with this big jar and will tell you, all of them will always talk to you about, oh, this particular alcohol was what Louis did this, George did that, that one king of France or one king of England, one king of some mighty European country, this is what they drank, and this was discovered in their palace so and so 2 years ago. And this small the Brazilian restaurant were the one who were able to win in the bid. You know, this drink cost over 200,000. In fact, $1 million. They will tell you this is $1 million in this, and they are going to drop. They have a tiny funnel that they will drop like about 5 drops for you to pay $300. You are told to put a tiny little drop under your tongue and leave it there for some moment. And then I said, bring the bottle, let me see. He pushed the cart. He put the cart, C-A-R-T, where the thing is. He pushed it near me. And I am looking at it because the bottle is very heavy. And I'm looking, I said, this bottle is not as big as the bottle that they use in doing the communion wine that we use here. It comes in a very big bottle. So I grabbed the bottle out of it and yanked it. He said, no, you can't. I said, wait. I said, do you know that I do wine business? He said, you do? I said, yes, I do alcohol business. So I have the right to take a look. So I grabbed the whole thing and I begin to look. When you begin to look, you will see that what they pasted on the bottle is fabricated. I can do it. I can do it with my photocopy right here. I can do it with my photocopy right here in this office. I can produce it in this office. All I need to do is to tell Fiverr what they are to get from different parts of the internet and put it and guacota the whole thing, concord the whole thing, put it together, and then slap some glue at the back and then put it on a bottle. And then you go down to the new strip or the old strip or wherever there is a cheap liquor store, and you grab like 2 to 3 different kinds of liquor, $5 each or $10. That's $30 for those cheap liquor. You can put a mixture of bourbon, cheap cognac, cheap vodka. You mix 3 of them together. You make sure that you test it, then you pour it inside that thing, and then you put the funnel on it, because the funnel, when it is poured from that little funnel, it tastes different. You know, it begins to taste different. Then I can now sell 5 tiny drops. I can tell you that this is the drink that a Emperor Uzo drank in 1670. In 1670. Yes, so I can now tell you that Queen Victoria of Idika Imeri mission drank that. Have you seen her name? You see her picture? I'll make sure that they put a big old crown on the head of Vicky, you know, and they make Vicky's cheek to go in like she's an older woman. They will make her cheek to go in. You can do it. It's photocopy. You can do it. Her cheek will go in. Her nose will come up, which will come up. They can do all of that. I personally can do that photocopy. I can do it right here on my computer. And then, and you make sure that the way it is done in such a way that is nice, beautiful. So that those who do not think they only come into Vegas to come and have a good time, you know, they are not even, when you tell them anything, because they come with money to come and spend, they bring the money out. I'm telling you, I swear to God, I must have restaurants. I must have liquor stores. I must have casinos. I must have the thing that people have been using to do voodoo, magic, and witchcraft on people with food, with cha-cha business. Casino is what we call cha-cha business. With cha-cha business, with tobacco business, with alcohol business, food business. People have been using this thing to make money from ages to ages. It's about time that we get our hands on this thing. So it's about time. And now they drink that Queen Victoria of Idika Imeri's mission used to drink in 1870, in 1670, 1850, all of that is now here in this restaurant. My dear, you are privileged to have a drop of this drink. This drink was on auction in Paris. We bidded for it. It was 10 million US dollars for this small bottle you see here. And how is it that every time you come to that place, you see the same drink by the same king? Why will it not finish from year to year? Are you serious? Victoria's drink will never finish. You understand? And all I do every day before it finish, in fact, I have the same mixture in my office waiting for them to mix and pour it into that grand money, that what do we call it? That money shaker, you know? Yeah, that money shaker. Yeah. Yes, so shake that money maker. I have that money maker. I'm going to pour those same liquor into it, and we will continue to tell you. Do not deviate from the story. You must master the story. Even if you are drunk, you must tell the same story and keep selling my stuff for me. Yes, so. Oh yeah. And that's what they do there. So when I was in Vegas, I went to go and eat at what is it, Fuca de Rio or whatever they call the Brazilian place. The guy was wheeling the thing and bringing it to me. He said to me, hey, he started to, I said, you don't hold your story. You don't need to tell me this story. I said to the guy, hey, you see, when you guys went to bargain for this drink in France, I was there at the auction. I was at the auction. So you don't need to worry to tell me the story. I was at the auction. He said, oh, so you were there. You travel a lot to France. I say, yes, all the time. I was there when they were auctioning this drink, you know. So, yeah. And you are telling me that it was just one bottle that was auctioned. I said, no. You have to go back and ask the people in charge of the alcohol department in this hotel. They will tell you that there were two. It was two that they discovered in Louis underground cellar. I bought one of it. Yeah, I bought one, and you guys bought the other one. So we are now in business, okay? He said, yeah. I said, there you go, I got you. You know? It was two bottles. You are telling me it was one. There were two bottles. I bought one at that auction in Paris, and you guys bought one. Ha! We are in business. Give me a high five. Bam. Mary, you get the way. I've been taught very well, oh. Roslyn and Mary, thank you for teaching me very well. I said, yeah, you are telling me it was one bottle. Go and ask your masters. They will tell you there were two bottles that were being auctioned spring last year. Is it not spring last year that they auctioned? And the guy would, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thieves. You know, thieves, when they get caught, yeah, thieves, they will just be agreeing. Yeah, it was two. But you were telling me it was one. Now it is two. I bought one. You guys bought one. So I don't need to buy it. Thank you very much. Go and bring me meat. Let me eat. Thank you. At that point that they know you know, they will now go and grab you. They say, oh, sir, there is this wine from Brazil that is this. We'll go and get you a glass. It is on the house. I said, that's fine. You guys are now talking. The show is on. They will now go and bring you a free drink. Real drink from Brazil. They will now go and bring it because they know that you are a good thief just like they are a good thief. They now know that you are a thief like they are. So they will now go and bring you. They now know that you are a thief like they are thieves. They now go and bring you a real fresh drink from Brazil. Huh? Or they will find something from Cuba. When you drink, you know where each drink comes from. And they will come and bring it. They will tell you it is on the house. You don't need to pay for it. Why am I now drinking? I don't need to pay for it. Because you, the thief, knows that I, the thief, I am here in your hotel. So that's good. There you go. And do you know that throughout the time that I eat in that place, do you know that they carried the cart containing all those alcohol, they carried it back inside. All the new people who were coming, whereby they will be disturbing those people and telling them the story about that bottle and selling them those trash, selling them the trashy thing, do you know that throughout the time they will watch me to see when I will leave so that they will come and bring the thing out. They never brought it out. I never saw it until I left. As I was leaving, the guy was wheeling the thing out again to come and start his traffic again. But that time, well, it's always good. When somebody tell you, oh, they are going to kill you by witchcraft, tell them that you are already a witch. Witch cannot kill a witch. That's all you should tell them. Yeah. Tell them you're a wizard or you're a witch. Witch can't kill a witch, so forget about it. Or they tell you, I'm going to a witch doctor. I'm going to a native doctor. Tell them that there is a law that governs the game. A witch doctor cannot go to fight a witch doctor. And a witch doctor cannot go to attack a daughter or a son of a witch doctor. I hope you guys know this. Do you guys know it? That is why, let me tell all of you tonight so that you know it. That is why a real master witch doctor, I'm not talking of those quack ones that are just talking, they don't know what they are doing. In the morning, I've already given them a blow. They are resting in the hospital. I'm not talking of those ones. No. A real witch doctor that has demons working with them or has dead people connecting and mediating for them. Watch the word I'm using. Real witch doctors, real native doctors, shamans, magicians, all those people, herbalists that uses foul spirits and fallen angels or dead ancestors or dead people, wicked dead people, to do what they do, are not allowed to attack you if you come from a long line of witches, wizards, and shamans, herbalists, and witch doctors' families. That's why if you walk into, if a real witch doctor sees you, a real people that does the black art, the red art, the blue art, the magical art, the occult, when they see you, the thing in them, the demon or the fallen angel from outside or the demon from inside will tell them that you belong to the house. I swear to God, that's what it is. I have never seen a witch doctor that crossed my path that did not know my father's name, that did not know my father's brother's name, who was a witch doctor. It's so strange, but this is the experience that I've had all my life. They will tell you things are going to happen in your life, that you are going to meet people in your life who goes to white garment church, who goes to churches that have their powers from the mermaids. They are all over the world. Or people who worship Iya. the woman of the sea, of the lake, of the river. It's very easy when I go to Los Angeles, very easy when I go to San Francisco, very easy when I'm in Miami. It's very easy when I'm in Brooklyn, New York. People will just see me in either side. They will start talking. You are an archbishop or you are a prophet. They have no idea who I am. If it's a witch doctor or people in the occult, they will tell me, you come from a long line of this kind of people. And the next thing they will do, they will take my ring and kiss it, and then they will hurry on. Sometimes they will give me money if they have. Because they have. It is a law. You guys do not understand the power of the law in the world of spirits and the world of humans. You guys don't understand. That's why sometimes I'm walking on the road, somebody will stop their car and say, hey. I say, yes. And he comes, he kneeled down and said, I want you to bless me. Here is money. And they will count $1,000 and put in my hand. And I will say, okay. And I will place my hand. I don't never place hand on people's head. I will place my hand on their shoulders. If I'm allowed to do that. And then I will utter things, or I will say things that they cannot hear or understand. And I will ask them to kiss my ring, and then they will enter their car and drive and go. If I want, I will ask them, who do you worship? And they will tell me, Iya. Or they will tell me Queen of the Coast, because you always see them in white suits, white pants, white shoes. That's how they dress all the days of their life to their offices. Or a white safari, or inner jacket. Everything is white. That's how you know they belong to her. This is not a joke. Go and see some of the great singers of Cuba. Go and see them with the white this thing on their head. White, what do we call that? White, is it kerchief or white headgear? Headgear is white on their, yeah, it's on their head. Yeah. Go and look at them and see the kind of music they release. They are singing about Ogun, they are singing about Shango, they are singing about Iya, and so go from Brazil to Venezuela to Puerto Rico to Cuba to Los Angeles to Miami to Tampa, Florida. Go to the big cities, you see what we are talking about. You think this is a joke, and there is no way that I've ever been that they will see me and they will say, he belongs to a long family of days, but he is in the church realm. They understand the art and the science of power. They do, and they don't joke. They do not joke. That's why when you talk about Jesus walking on the water, or the 3 Hebrew children being thrown into the fire, or Daniel being thrown into the lion's den and nothing happened to these people, those things are clapping. They are clapping. Why? Because what they see is power and money, and that's it. And they love it. They will pay anything for it. They will do anything for it. They will sacrifice anything for it, including themselves. These people ain't cheap. Write down the next number. Cheap people do not take life serious. In fact, put it this way: cheap people do not take life, other human beings, money serious. Life, other human beings, and money serious. They don't. Next, cheap people attach so much importance to food, alcohol, party, and all sorts of entertainment than anything else. Yep. Yep. Next, cheap people never learn from pain. They keep repeating a cycle of failure throughout their lifespan. They keep recycling a cycle of failure throughout their lifespan on the earth. Now let me go back to what I was saying to you guys. So when somebody come to you and said, "Oh, I'm gonna ask Satan to deal with you. I worship Eshu," which means there are people who worship Satan. I hope you know that. Same thing. Satan is same thing like Lucifer. Same person, same being. He's both a spirit being and a physical being. I hope you know that. All these fallen angels are both physical and they are both spirit at the same time. So when they tell you they are going to tell Satan to come and kill you, you should stand there and say, "I'm going to ask Jesus to come and destroy you." That's it. Those who are smart enough knows who Jesus is. Don't let somebody tell you that and walk away. And then you are there shaking. Hey! They said they are going to call Satan to come and kill me. Hey! Wow! I'm done. I didn't know how I'm going to enter. I went and found this kind of trouble. Hey! Cheap. Somebody tell you that they are going to call Satan. Why did you not tell them that you are going to call Jesus? For me, I won't even go as far as saying I'm going to call Jesus. I will tell them that I'm going to tell Satan to turn around and kill them. So even if you went and paid Satan, even if you went and paid Satan to go and kill that person, you can turn around and tell the same Satan not to go. Because you know that Satan is a player. He collects the money, and then you tell him, "I know you got the money, but I want you to turn around. Stop, don't go there. Turn around and go back and kill the very people who send you." And he will go and do it. Do you guys know that? Because Satan is a conniving being. And Satan take it as an insult. Demons and fallen angels take it as an insult for you to invoke them and call them to go and work for you. They see you as, oh, I don't know. They hate you. You should be able to tell Satan, "Turn around!" According to the law of power, the law of heaven, and the laws of the vampires. When a big power appears, a small power turns back and never come back. Go and attack the people who send you. And that is it. And you walk away. He will not do it himself because he does not want to be known as the one who turned around to betray the game. So he will do it behind the scene and will send someone without a face to come and hit all of you. It's It's a dangerous thing for you to go and consult devils. It's a very dangerous thing people are doing, and they do. That's why a lot of people who do those things, they become mad people, they become mental people. Because you are dabbling into what you don't know. Sometimes halfway when those entities are going to, in fact, many of them, when you send them to go and do it, they ask you, what's the name? That's the first thing they will ask you. Those who operate those kind of things will ask you, give me the name. Do you have a picture or something that belongs to the person? And you say, yes. What's the name? You give them the name. They say, no, we cannot do it. Thank you, sorry. You say, why? Why? I will pay you anything to destroy. He said, no. That's not it. You don't understand. So what is it that I don't understand? The gods are neutral. You say, no, they are not neutral when it comes to certain people. You say, really? You say, right. So why? You say, the person whose name you are trying to give to us is seated with the owners. Is seated with the owners before the shining throne. You say, are you serious? You say, yep. When did this person say? He said, you don't understand. He said, yes, I do understand. He said, no, you don't. You are trying to destroy somebody who is like a god on the earth. Do you know what that means? You guys do not even know what the Bible says. It says that the Bible says that you are seated with Christ in the heavenly places, far above all principalities and power, which include Lucifer. Did you guys know that? You are seated. Do you know what that means? That is huge. You're gonna tell a witch doctor to come and kill me? Seriously? You better ask that witch doctor who I am. Because you walk into that man, if he accepts money for him to do, he will be found dead. Dead on arrival. That's what it is. You've not yet even started. When you start to get into the game, that's when you know what we mean by power. You guys do not know what it means when you walk into a property you want to buy, and you look, you don't have the money, and you lay your hand on that property and say, nobody will ever buy you except me. Since I don't have the money now, you are going to wait until I have the money, then I'll come and buy you, and you walk away. And nobody will buy that house until the money is complete and you go and buy the house. That's how powerful this thing is. Even houses knows things. When I go to look at houses and I found a house that I like, I talk to the house and I go and talk to the trees around that house or in that compound. I go and talk to the trees. I tell them, watch over this house for me. Don't allow anybody to buy this house except me. I'll treat all of you very nicely. I start to talk to the grass. I talk to the ground. I will pick the soil from that house. I will pick the soil from that house. I will pick the soil from that house and I'll begin to speak. There's a house that I would like to buy tomorrow. I don't have the money to buy it, so I'm going back there early tomorrow morning with my driver. I'm going to take the sand from the place. And that will be the end of it. Nobody's going to buy that house. That house is going to wait for me until I'm ready with the money. Something event will be created. Event will be created that will make it impossible for anybody to buy it. That's what we call power. want you to think about. I want you to begin to think about. Are you a rich person? Tonight we are dealing with the characteristics of a cheap person. I want you to play this broadcast over and over and say, are you a cheap person or are you a rich person? We are going to do the characteristics of a rich person. We talked about that a cheap person is somebody who want to enjoy, not somebody who want to invest. So I want you to begin to go and think very seriously. Because if you want to follow our kind of God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David, Jesus Christ, our Messiah, you better make up your mind that you are not going to be cheap. You better make up your mind. We are going to put a stop to it right here for tonight. Vicky, what is the time?
Okay, the time is 8:56 your time.
8:56 my time, okay. Those of you who care so much about what we are doing this week, join me tonight. Join me tonight at 11 o'clock. Don't go to bed. Join me for a non-recorded event. It's not going to be recorded. There's something that has already started to happen. Those of you who are not watching news, you do not know what we have already created. We have already created something that has been lingering since January. In fact, since November 2020, there's been something lingering in the physical and in the mind realm, and it was blown into the supernatural realm. Something that has been since 2020, and I have busted it and we have destroyed it. Those of you who are in the ring knows what has happened. Roslyn, you know. Vicky, you know. Vivian, you know. Mary, you know. Go and watch the news. You begin to see what I'm saying. Something that has been lingering since November 2020. On Monday, this week Monday, everything was blown apart. Go and watch the news, you'll see. You'll understand what I mean when I talk about power. That I'm not just messing around. Go and see what is happening in world politics or American politics. Go and check it out. You will see. I told all of you how we are going to put this country together without making noise about it. We are going to change the political parties without making noise about it. We are going to change mindsets. We are going to make I will leave it like that. Go and watch the news, you will know. So meet with me at 11 p.m. tonight. We will be spending 30 minutes to pray. Big time classic. You are no longer cheap. You want miracle signs and wonders. Be prepared for the best that the world has to offer. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the big money. Don't be afraid. All I ask you is to be accountable. All I ask you is, let me give you an example. Maybe those of you who follows our investment portfolio, you don't know. Every rental property, every real estate, we flip or we rent, we buy or we sell, I don't touch the money. The money is used back in that business. I don't need it. I need more money to buy more. If you follow the Holy Spirit, He will show you the kind of houses that will sell, that will rent easily from state to state, nation to nation, so that it does not matter the crash that will ever happen. You are safe, you're covered, you're on. Money keep flowing. Is there anybody who has a question tonight? If not, we will ask Mary to close us with a prayer and tell God to turn our mentality from cheap. Remember, when we say cheap, we are not talking about buying cheap things. That's not what we are talking about. It's a mental thing. There are people, cheap people buy what they cannot afford. And they turn around and hurt badly. So I want you to put it as the next thing, the next number. Cheap people buy what they cannot afford. That's what they do. That's the end of it. There is somewhere where we use the word calculate. They don't calculate. They think that because, and also let me put it this way. Let's get the next number. Next number. Cheap people follows a trend. Cheap people follows a trend more than anything else. They follow a trend. Whatever reigns now, they will do anything to get it. Whereas the rich are willing to wait to get it. Cheap people rush to go and get it. They don't care. Next number. Cheap people are easily convinced about a thing. They are easily convinced about a thing without checking it out. Without checking it out. Next number. Money and power can easily be used to buy, to cow. I mean like cow, C-O-W, that's exactly what I mean. To buy, comma, to cow, and to shut up and shut down a cheap person. To shut up and shut down. Shut up, S-H-U-T, and shut down, S-H-U-T too. Do you get it? Samantha, can you read that for us, please?
Money and power can easily be used to buy.
To buy.
Cow.
To buy, B-U-Y. Uh-huh.
To cow.
To cow.
And to shut up. Yes, C-O-W.
Mm-hmm.
And to shut up and shut down a cheap person.
There you go. Oh, yeah. This is huge. Hey, I should ring a bell for this one. Money and power can easily be used to buy, B-U-Y, to buy, or to cow. You know what to cow mean? Tie down. That's the meaning.
Yeah.
To cow, to tie down. To shut up and to shut down a cheap person. Oh my goodness. We need to ring another bell for this. This is so. This is big. So why do you need to mix with cheap people when they can easily get you sold? Continue. Next number. For a cheap person, everything and everyone is subject to sell. Is subject to sell. S-E-L-L. Like you are selling things. That's the way they think.
Did you say every day and everyone?
Everything. Everything and everyone is subject to sell. Sell. S-E-L-L. Like you are selling something. Not selling a boat. Like it's not S-A-I-L. It's S-E-L-L. Subject to sell. Yep. That's the way they think. You say what?
Everything has a price.
There you go. You can put there in parentheses, in bracket, transactional. Transactional mentality configuration, and you close it. Mary also sent me to grammar school, so you guys should know that. I went to the University of Grammar too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We'll leave it there. And then at night, 11 p.m. tonight, we will be meeting to start praying. I just wanted to throw this in so that this is a checklist. It's not exhaustive, but this is the maximum how far I can go. So you ask yourself, is this the kind of life that I want?
Most Reverend. Hello?
So finish.
Hello?
Let's give you the summary. In summary, this is the last one, the last number. A cheap person is a careless person. Period or full stop. Period. All right. We will be meeting at 11 p.m. and we will go from here. Vicky, give us that word about the blessing. I want you guys to think very seriously about what the blessing is. Come on, go for it, my dear.
The blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it.
There you go. Good night to you all. Bye bye.